Art, the county needs to hire someone who is capable of experienced county planning, who's had quite a bit of experience in this type of planning.
Let's be specific. What sort of plans do we need, though?
We need a master plan which would guide the county in their future construction needs, so that it would incorporate all of the various buildings and facilities and generally just the various functions, so that they will coordinate closely together.
What's brought about this need?
This need has been brought about because of no prior planning. In the past, what we need now should have been done 20 years ago.
I think if he does not make the choice, we have no alternative but to conduct a very aggressive campaign to point out to the people of the 3rd District exactly how serious and how grievous this complaint is. I think many people in the 3rd District were shocked that Judge Mead would send out a letter, as he did last week, at random to all residents of the 3rd District, wherein he solicited funds from people in the 3rd District under the name of Judge John Mead. And he did so, I might say, at random.
Chief, today the grand jury no-billed Officer Dorn on the shooting of Nick Felix a few weeks ago. Now, Nick Felix was 14. His father completely denied all statements that were made on the press releases. What is your statement on this?
Well, I think the grand jury speaks now with legal authority, and as far as I'm concerned, the case is closed. Our investigation was very complete, very thorough, and all of the details of the investigation were turned over to the grand jury for their consideration, and even before the grand jury acted, we had determined from our own investigation there would not be any administrative action from the police department against the officer in this particular case.
Mr. Secretary, President Nixon has said the North Vietnamese reaction to his peace proposals were expected, and that he had discussed those reactions in advance of his speech with high administration officials. Were you a party to those discussions?
Yes, the President briefed the Cabinet before he gave his television statement. And we had also a briefing with Secretary Rogers, Secretary Laird, and the Chiefs of Staff. And the President made it quite clear that no one would know how Hanoi would react to a proposal of this kind. He outlined in detail the proposal to us, and then he made to me this, or to us, sounded to me this significant comment. He said a first reaction could well be negative. You'd expect some quick reaction, but it'll be weighed, it'll be considered.
Mr. Secretary, there are a number of tax breaks due for U.S. citizens in 1971. There are also reports that we may be facing as much as a $15 billion deficit in fiscal 1971. If that budget deficit becomes a reality, do you feel those tax breaks might have to be postponed?
Politically, I think it'll be very difficult to make that change. I think it'll be very difficult to get it through the Congress in time. And actually, the amount involved in the fiscal year coming up is just over $1 billion. You see, when the Tax Reform Act was passed, these benefits were staggered over a period of time, so it would not affect the budget for 71 or 72 very largely. The benefits come after that.
A number of contracts have been worked out recently, locally and around the nation, that have been termed highly inflationary. Of course, we have the UAW strike now against General Motors, and that contract is also reported to be working toward very high figures. Do you feel these contract negotiation settlements are inflationary, and are they going to hamper our economic growth?
Well, to the extent that settlements are too high in relation to productivity, it presents a cost-push problem, and that's what we're in now. and we highlight individual settlements. And they have a ripple effect into other fields, because when one man gets an increase, it tends to make the other one want a high increase too. And yet, 2 or 3 thoughts on this that we have to keep in mind. This year, which is an important year with the General Motors or the automobile workers and others, 6% of our total labor force will have labor settlements this year. The rest of them will not. And when you look at what happened last year with the very high increases in construction wages, and that's happening this year in the construction field, it's discouraging to see those, because it's causing real problems and will.
Americans are saving at a 7.5% clip. That is 7.5% of all their take-home dollars are going into savings accounts. How are we going to get these people to turn loose of that money without turning loose all at the same time?
Well, that's a very interesting point. Consumer income in this adjustment period has been high. It's been one of the strong points of our economy. The consumer's acted very well. He hasn't gone in debt seriously, so consumer credit is held pretty well. Now savings with the additional income as a result of the surtax lapsing has increased to the 7.5% rate to which you alluded. The normal rate's about 5 to 6%. And we would expect that over a period it'll get to that. It won't happen all at once. It happens slowly as they see that prices are a little more stable. They move into this, that, or the other, and it'll be spent. It's an underlying strength in the economy.
Do you think, though, that they can be talked into feeling good about taking some of this money out of their savings accounts, or is it going to take something they can positively see?
Well, I don't think you talk them into it. They see needs, and of course there's just unlimited demands and desires. In a period when interest rates were going up and money was tight and they could see adjustments, they were shoring up. That's a natural tendency. As they see things are moving along, they'll want to travel, they'll want to buy things that they need. And homes, that's a big item. This might give them the down payment.
Alexander, what's the need for this test?
The National Society any kind of information that would help, anything that would piece it together, who she might have got in the car with, or was last seen, or anything that would pin it down, that would, that we could put, just put our hands on and have something definite to work on. And with the coverage we got, and with the girl's picture, there's sure to be someone that has seen her or knows her and knows where she was last seen, and if she was with anyone or something like that. Irving Police Department, the Richardson Police Department, Plano Police Department are all working on it, and of course our department. We've had the helicopter out checking the location where luggage was found, and have found nothing else. There's man hours. There's no way of telling how many man hours have been put in on this. And other departments are working with us real well, and the citizens are. We've received information, and what we've checked out so far has not given us anything ironclad to go on. At this time, we just don't have anything that is for sure. There's no way of telling. All these people we checked out, there's a lot of people that knew the girl, and we've got some information called in, but everything we've checked out so far, we haven't got any good information, any good leads on it at all.
Does the information you do have and the finding of the luggage at least lead you to suspect that there could have been foul play?
Yes, with this all being gone, this was something that a person would normally not do. In other words, they wouldn't leave their luggage sitting out on a road or something of this sort. This is, and of course with a girl this age, she could call in, and it wouldn't, I don't think, would be like her to stay without someone knowing where she is.
New. Over in Dallas County, the county commissioners not so long ago authorized the sale of $25 million worth of revenue bonds to expand Parkland Hospital. And over a period of 5 years, our Board of Governors was asking for the issuance of $11 million of revenue bonds. It might not be that over a period of time we'd have to issue that many, but perhaps we would. I strongly support revenue bonds.
Why?
Because I believe that over a period of time it'll be much better for the taxpayers of this county, and I'm certain that we can do the job with the revenue bonds, and it would require a tremendous selling job. I know that all the people of the county who understand, or most of them anyway, who understand the needs of John Peter Smith Hospital would support a bond election. But the problem we would have would be getting to the message to those thousands who don't understand. And that would call for an expenditure, I would say, of upwards of $50,000 in voluntary contributions and a cost of $40,000 to the taxpayers to have an election.